thought I'm not gonna survive with the QCY T3. Selamat pagi! Good morning everyone, Kenneth here. I was thinking of making the review earlier that time because I don't like how it sounds, but I decided not to do it. Try to listen to this even more, and now I sort of have an idea who this is for. I'm gonna share it with you right now. By the way, quick reminder, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter because I share most of the things there first before coming to this video. All links are down in the description below. Thank you. Getting straight to the point, if you care about how your music sounds, I don't think you should get the QCY T3. Listening to the QCY T3 is like throwing away most of the bass. Though, admittedly, it's not as bad as music playing through a phone speaker or these teeny tiny small speakers. There's still some bass, but it's mostly treble dominant. And when listening to high volume, it could possibly hurt. As it is the case for me, I listen to mostly 50% volume because I couldn't stand listening to this at 50-80%. It'll be too harsh for me. But again, this is me coming from the halo, which is mostly bass dominant. With this sudden change, it almost felt impossible for me to like how the sound. But turns out I get used to the sound. You just have to know where to listen to. That is very important. Because this is more like an AirPod, it only sits right by your ear like that, not going inside your ear, and it doesn't have any passive sound isolation. And that's why they perform very poorly in noisy environments. Bus, metro, canteen, forget it. Unfortunately, that is where I use my earbuds a lot. That also explains why my experience in the first few days weren't as good with this one. And using this while riding an e-bike is an interesting one. While being worn just like this without any helmet, the wind noise is very noticeable, most probably because of the stem. But if you use a helmet, which is, it fits, and then it fits great by the way, because of the added stem, it presses onto your ear, although it doesn't feel very natural, but it feels secure inside. Added bonus is wind noise is gone, sound is a little bit better because there's no wind noise, and probably because the sound isolation from the helmet itself. It's just generally a better experience when used with helmet. By the way, when taking the helmet out, this always dropped. I haven't found any way that I could take off my helmet without dropping either one of these earbuds. So far, I didn't find it to hurt because like there's a slight empty space there in my helmet, but I find that this kind of shape is borderline, you know, like just right there when it can hurt. So I'm warning you, it might hurt for some people, especially on this section where it's on the back of your ear. It hurt me a couple times when using this for a long time. You have to put it the right way, but it's kind of tricky and it's kind of hard to get. And last but not least, if you're wondering that the touch will be messed up by the helmet, worry not. So far, I've never had any music stop on me because of the helmet or anything like that. But the touch control, I'll get to that later. For now, I'm gonna talk about the good stuff here. I listen to these not only in noisy places, but I also bring it to quiet places. And there is where this starts to shine. Inside an office, for example, or in a classroom, or here in my room, I start to enjoy how these sound. It's moderate to low amount of bass. They are quite pleasant to listen to for longer periods of time. Let's say I'm listening to 50% volume in a classroom while doing something. I don't want the music to interfere with what I'm doing. I want to focus on that, but I still want some music to play. And this can definitely serve as that purpose. A background music player of some sorts. Now, listening in quiet places, you might want to ask, how about the sound leak here? That is very important as you don't want the person beside you to be able to hear what you're hearing. I'm gonna do a little quick test here. I'm just gonna put my mic right here pointing at me. Hopefully you can get an idea how the sound leak is. Generally, I find it to be good, by the way. So, the background music player kind of thing is made possible by the very good amount of battery life inside these earbuds. The last time I tried to listen to these, as usual, I started listening at 3 o'clock, and this died at 9 p.m. at night. 6 hours listening to music at 50% volume, by the way, on a true wireless earbuds is insanely good. So I think this plays a big factor in deciding whether you should or should not buy the QCY T3. Oh, and by the way, in the past 2 weeks I've been using this, I've only charged the entire package, the case and all these, for like about 2 times, I guess. It's crazy. Okay, so that is the sound. I get used to it. I know where to listen to. But there's this one thing that I cannot get used to, and that is the controls. So the controls are like this. Double tap to play or pause a song, hold for 2 seconds on the right to go to the next song, left to the previous song, and triple tap to activate voice assistant. Oh, and there's volume control, so you slide up like this to do volume up and swipe down for volume down. It's a pretty good gesture on paper, but the sensitivity on this thing, it's very hard to register. Sometimes I'll be tapping away like crazy and nothing happens. I changed where I tap, I changed the speed of me tapping it, and nothing that I want happened. It is the very experience, I would say, tricky. And making things worse, holding by the side registers the taps as well. So let's test it out real quick here. I'm just gonna double tap this and see if the song plays. It didn't play, so double tap, and so now the song is playing. I'm just gonna hold it like this and try, you know, like try to adjust up, and the song changed. Voice assistant, and you get the idea. So it's kind of finicky and tricky with the touches registering when you are holding just by the sides. It gets pretty annoying because you have to adjust the earbuds within that 2 seconds if you don't want your song to skip. It's very annoying. So all in all, I don't think the touch sensitivity hits that mark where it's acceptable, you know, the good ones. I don't think these are very reliable to use day to day. I just find it very frustrating to use. But it's not all bad things though. Like the volume control is really nice to have. Adjusting a little bit volume just like by swiping up or down like that is very handy at times. Okay, so now let's do a quick latency test and see how this performs compared to the Halo GT1. Now I'm back with my glasses. I'll talk about build quality real quick here. So the case is very similar to the QCY QS2 if you're familiar with that. Translucent lid, 2 LEDs on the front, micro USB charging cable. And the thing about this is I noticed that these 2 LEDs don't show the charging level when you are charging the case. So it's just lights up green, it turns off when it's finished charging. And this translucent lid helps to make it easier for you to check if the earbuds are really charging or not inside. It's just another peace of mind. Although it has already got some marks here because it rubbed with my keys in my pocket, but I kind of expect the marks to be here because of the matte finish. So yeah, all in all, the earbuds, the cases, they are pretty solidly built, and I think there's no problem with the build quality. Okay, so right now I'm outside my room. So this is the indoor call test. I'm using the QCY T3. They're both in my ear. Let's see, I'm gonna tap the right side and I'm gonna tap the left side. Okay, so which mic is used? I think it's the right side, right? So now I'm gonna go down and do the outdoor call test. Okay, so now I'm outside and I'm not in the streets because that road is kind of empty anyway. So I think I'll just do a call test right here. This is what it sounds like, and you can hear the cricket noise. It gets very bad. Let me do a quick comparison. So this is, I'm going to change to speaker, and this is what it sounds like. Me talking to the speaker. No, I'm sorry. This is me talking to the phone. I'm going to switch to the QCY T3. QCY T3. So please tell me if there's any sound difference. My goodness. And finally, let's talk about some of the worst problems that had happened during my use of the QCY T3. Connection problems. They don't really have any connection problem between the left and right earbud, but this earbud might sometimes disconnect all of a sudden to the phone for no reason. Sometimes you're just listening to music and it's just got disconnected. You will have to go to Bluetooth settings, tap the QCY T3R name to reconnect. So basically it's just getting disconnected for no reason, and that's kind of frustrating at times. And the next problem is sometimes we forgot the case, right? Like sometimes I do forget the case. I just take these outside, put it in my ear like this. But there are at times where I meet with people and I want to talk to them and I have to take these off. Like I just put them in my hand like this, and this messes up with the touch controls real bad. They just turn off and you basically cannot turn them back on at all. I tried to hold it like very long time and nothing happened. You have to go take the case and put it inside for that to get back on. Actually, it happened all the time when I was going outside without my case, so make sure you bring the case when you're outside. And yeah, just some of the things that I've mentioned, it may sometimes hurt like your back of the ear here, where it hangs, like where this ear tip meets the plastic section of the earphone, so you might want to be careful of that. And because of the design, using this with raincoat is a total nightmare. It gets stuck in a raincoat and like the raincoat is trying to take it off away, and I'm really afraid for this earbuds to just fall off on the road. It's gonna be very bad. So these are not the type of earbuds that once put stays there forever in your ear, like the Powerbeats Pro, for example. Although I cannot say they fall off quite easily, because if I don't hit my ear, they don't fall. So they basically stays pretty well in my ear. Oh yeah, the left one falls. But you know, I have a problem with my left ear, but still, I think because of the rubber tip here, they stayed just a little bit better than the AirPods or the fake AirPod replicas, something like that. And the last problem that I noticed is the touch sensitivity. It's not focused on the stem right here, but it goes to the sides as well. I found them to not being registered by the fabrics, you know, like pillows, helmets for example. But if there is any very little like skin, for example, you're trying to sleep on a table like that, you cannot do that. Song will skip, it will turn off by itself. It's not good. So let's sum it up here. Consider getting the QCY T3 if you need: first, long battery life; second, good call quality; third, volume controls; and fourth, an open earbud that you want to use in quiet environments. If you are planning to have a smaller earbuds or block out noisy environments, or you're someone who needs space, then you should skip the QCY T3. Alright, so that is pretty much it for the video. I hope it covered most of your questions. Please do give it a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't like it. Don't forget to subscribe, because my next earbud after the QCY T3 will be what is it? Will be that thing. This is my next earbud. It feels like a toy, like seriously, compared to the QCY T3. I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, thanks for watching. I'm Kenneth, and I'll see you in the next one. So, they are not the most yeah.